we're going to work on the Module 2 assignment. So go to Module 2, the Real Estate assignment. If you just click on Requirements and Rubric, it will take you straight there. Okay, so here's the instructions. It says select a region and create a random sample of 30 from the data. So I'm going to click on the data, and it's going to download the spreadsheet. And the regions are these East, North, Central. Let me make this larger. Okay, so the regions are this East, North, Central. If you scroll down, you'll see more regions in the United States. Okay. You can pick any of them. We're going to take a sample of 30. I'm going to take the East, South, Central. The easiest thing to do, in my opinion, to start off is just take all of the information from the region that you want. So I'm going to find where East, South, Central starts, shift, scroll down until I get all of them. Okay, so I can see that I'm at the end. I'm going to scroll over to get all the data. Okay, I'm going to click copy. Come down to a new tab here. This plus sign will open a new sheet. So click that and then paste. Okay, let me make this larger. Okay, I'm also going to delete the columns that I do not need. Now, I deleted the top things that showed what the columns were. Column D is list price. You can see those look like house prices. And column F is the square feet. Okay. This middle column is cost per square foot. We don't need it. So I'm just going to click right here on A. I have to go back to home to get my regular functions. Delete the states. Those are counties. We can delete that. Now that's the list price. We need it, so I'm going to click B and delete it. Now this is very, very important. We're going to be creating a scatter plot, and for the scatter plot to be correct, square feet needs to be first. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click A. I'm going to click the scissors, which is cut. I'm going to click in here in C1, paste. Okay. This is very important because the scatter plot, what we're trying to see is in the scatter plot, does square feet affect price? Okay, so we're trying to see if square feet affects the price of a house. Okay, so now our sample needs to be random. We have a random number generator in Excel. So click here in D1, type equals, start typing RAND. When it comes up, double click and then hit enter. Okay, so that gives you a random number. We want to do that for the whole entire rows, all the rows. So what we're going to do is go back to D1, hit shift, We're going to scroll all the way down. Okay, and this will take a minute. There we go. We're at the end. Now, come up here to the top. This down arrow, we want to click that and click down. Okay, what that is called fill down, and that means whatever you did in D1, it's going to do all the way down. Okay, now to make this random, click on D. It's going to highlight all of it. Click. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to delete column A. Okay, let's delete column A. I just clicked on A, and let's delete that whole column. Okay. Okay, so let's go back, highlight C, click sort and filter, smallest to largest. You want to make sure expand the selection is on. What that means is the rows stay the same. Okay, what do I mean by that? That means 2468 stays with 289980. 1646 stays with 197100. Each row represents a specific house. So row 1 is a house with 2468 square feet that lists for 289800. Okay, so it always wants to be on expand the selection, sort. Okay, what that did is sorted these random numbers, which randomizes that list of houses. Okay, we no longer need column C. Now we need a random sample of 30, so we're just going to take the first 30 rows. What I think is best is to always move your stuff to a new sheet tab. So I'm going to click in A1. I'm going to hold down the shift, the right arrow. Okay, now I've let go of the right arrow. I'm going to shift and hold down the bottom until I get 30. I think this is easier than using the mouse personally. Okay, so I've got a row of 30 and I've got my square feet and the list price. And I've got what I need here. So click the plus. Okay, well, I forgot to hit copy. So click copy. Okay, come back to our new sheet and paste. All right, let's make this view larger. Okay, so the first column is square feet. The second column is list price. It's okay that they're not labeled here because I'm labeling in just a minute. Okay, so we've selected a region. We're going to get some descriptive statistics now. Okay, so we're going to find the mean, median, and standard deviation. So what we want to click now is data. We're going to come over here to data analysis. Okay, descriptive statistics. Okay, this just goes through, they're alphabetically. So we want descriptive statistics. Okay. Now it guessed the range. So that's because I did this earlier. Okay, so when you pull it up, it's going to look like this. So you want to click, you want to go to your first one, hold down the shift, arrow over. You can let go of the right arrow key, hold down the down arrow. Okay, so I've got from A1 to B30. So that means it's going to go A1 to A30, B1 to B30. We need summary statistics. Check mark that. Okay. Okay, now that puts it in a new sheet, which is fine. Okay. You can screenshot this Let's label these. Our first column was square feet, and this is list price. Or you can make a table and put it in the template. Okay, so here's our mean. Our mean is like the average, so that's the average square feet, average list price, the median, and the standard deviation. If you double click between A and B, okay, if you just double click in between columns, it makes the column large enough to see all the data. Okay, so we've done the descriptive statistics, mean, median, standard deviation. How is it sample? How is the sample random? What you're going to do is you're going to explain how we did these random numbers, the random number generator. Okay, now next says create a scatter plot. So let's go back to where we have our 30. Okay, and how do we create a scatter plot? Okay, go to A1, hold down the shift, keep holding down the shift, click the right arrow. Okay, you can let go of the right because we're just getting our two columns. Using the down arrow, come all the way down till we have all the data. Going to click Insert. If you click Recommended Charts, it pulls up the most common ones. And here we have the first one, Scatter. So click it. Okay, I'm going to make this larger. Okay, each dot represents a house. Okay, so we can see we have a lot of houses right here and a couple that are, I would call those outliers, okay, because they're very different from these. Okay, so we've got most of these houses that look like between about 1,500 to about 2,500, and then some extremely large ones over here. Now, if you hover over a dot, it will tell you specifically about that house. So this house, that tells you how large it is and what was its price. Same thing for each other dot. Okay, so we want to do some labels. So up at the top, we're going to click Add Chart Element. First, let's do our axis titles. Okay, let's do the horizontal. So we're going to double click in here, and what I do is I just go to the very end and then click delete. Okay, so down here is square feet. Okay, so these numbers down here represent how big a house is. Okay. Okay, I'm going to double click back in here. I've lost my chart elements. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and double click in here. What this is square feet, feet versus list price. Okay. Okay. I clicked on chart design to get this add chart element back. So I'm going to click add chart element, axis titles. I still need the primary vertical. Okay, so I'm going to double click in here. go to the end, delete. This is list price. Okay. Now, we need a couple other things. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple things that are not asked for in Module 2, and the reason being is you'll need it in Module 3. Okay. This is going to ask for a trend line, but I'm going to add one other thing so that you don't have to redo your work in Module 3. In Module 3, we're going to use this same scatter plot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do all the work that you need to save you some time when you get to Module 3. So we're going to click Add Chart Element, come down to Trend Line, click Linear. Okay, so here's our line. Go back to Add Chart Element, come back to Trend Line. Now we're going to go to More Trend Line Options. Okay, so we want to put two things on our chart. So check mark Display Equation, check mark R squared. Okay, this R squared is not asked for in this one. You need it in the next one. You need it in Module 3. So let's just go ahead and put that on there and save some time later. I'm going to close that. Okay, so I'm going to try to move this over. Okay, first I'm going to just make that a little larger. Sorry, there we go. Okay. Sorry, I just got a new MacBook, not having easiest time with the touchpad. Okay, so the y equals 101.4x plus 38812 is called the regression equation. And what it represents is the equation of this line. Okay, the equation of this line. What that equation means is it tries to predict what other houses would cost based on some of these houses that we know. Okay, so let's see where we are in terms of our instructions. Okay, observe patterns. Okay, observe patterns. Define X and Y. X is square feet. And Y is list price. Okay, what's the association? You can see as square feet gets bigger that house prices also increase, which makes sense because bigger houses cost more money. Okay, so that's our association. Our shape is linear. That means it forms a line. When we connect these dots, we make a line that connects, that makes the pattern. Okay, if you had an 1,800 square foot house based on the equation in the graph, what price would you choose to list it as? Okay, now to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to plug 1,800 in for X. So I can just make this equation. Okay, I'm just going to type Y equals. Let's do this. Let's say list price. Okay, that's just a label. So I'm going to say equals 101.4 times 1800 plus 38812. Okay, now your equation will not be 101.4x plus 38812 because your sample, your 30 numbers, are most likely going to be different from mine. So you're going to use the equation that comes up. Okay, so hit return. What does that mean? A house with 1,800 square feet. Okay, we predict the list price to be $221,332. Okay, now see how most of mine go through? Okay, now when I said these are outliers, they fit the pattern. Okay, so they're not really outliers. They're just homes that are a little different from these over here. Okay, outliers would be a point that was maybe way over here or way up here. Outliers are things that don't go along this line. Okay, and so let's say I had a point that was up here. Okay, that would be a house that was priced very much higher than others in that square foot range. Okay, or let's say there was a house down here. That would be a house that was priced much lower than others. Okay, so anything that's up here is higher than the line, higher than others, and anything down here would be lower than what is expected. Okay, the equation is just what we expect a house in that range to cost. Okay, and that is how you do Module 2. Please save your spreadsheet because it will save you so much work for Module 2. Okay, this R squared value we don't use in Module 2, but it's much simpler and easier to go ahead and complete that.